Hello, everybody. This is Swarmlord39 from Almost Cool. I am here with Math Jazz
Hello.
and Diermood,
Hello.
and we are back with another Stellaris stream. Now, last time was actually fairly uneventful, if I recall. There were a couple wars, but overall, it was rather normal.
No, but wars are not uneventful.
True.
Are you still in the middle of one versus the
Versus the
Helissimus peace?
Yep, I am still. I was in the middle of finishing off my occupation of their territory. I had lost hold of one of the planets I had conquered because one of his allies came in and dropped his armies on top of me.
Let us on pause and then continue.
Yeah, alrighty. Yeah. Okay.
Like I said,
Math, you unpause it. There we go.
Like I said, I'm getting Ascension Theory this week, so I want to get that quickly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I'm getting Ring Worlds.
Right. Oh yeah, we're gonna have lag on this game. For those of you who are not aware, Matches is actually currently out of town, so he is using a laptop for his
That's not true. I took my tower with me.
Oh, you are sorry. I thought you said you were using a laptop.
No.
Then
No,
why did you
I'm
earlier? Sorry, you said earlier.
I said that I'd have to be using my parents' internet connection because I'm visiting them, and they don't have as fast an internet connection as I do.
Yeah, no, I thought it because you said you had to run off and grab a power cord for your laptop. That's why I was under the assumption you were using a laptop.
Oh no, laptop to watch the live stream to make sure that I can interact with people that are chatting with me.
On a separate but similar note, Swarmlord, do you hear that? He's closer to me at the moment.
That's true.
It's meant to be double.
Oh, yeah.
It's meant to be a double entendre. Like, yeah, he likes me better. So totally lame, but I wanted to say it.
You can say it all you want.
I would, but people would get annoyed.
Anywho, so for the dev diary for this past week, fairly simple. Just going over music. And it's gonna be fair. It's a fairly good track. They released the track called "Synthetic God."
Ooh.
And it definitely has a lot of synth overtones and whatnot. Ah! My game crashed. Okay, hold my stream back up. That is just totally not cool. I literally, I was just doing normal stuff, and it just crashed. So, while we go about jumping back in,
I believe you were talking about the dev diary.
Yes. So the dev diary.
Synthetic God. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it had a lot of overtone. It had a lot of the techie synth overtones, and definitely sounded very much like like you would have in a game involving mechanical beings. I'm gonna need.
Cool.
Why is it not letting me connect?
Because it doesn't like you, Doug.
Okay, this time I think it let me connect. Maybe. Oh gosh, frickin' dang it. Math, is it showing up as me trying to join the game?
It does not show you as trying to join the game.
Nope.
I think Stellaris just crashed again.
It doesn't like you.
No, never mind. It didn't. It just gave me a connection failed error this time around instead of crashing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Come on. What the heck? This is ridiculous.
I see you now.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay, so you said the dev diaries say that there's just being new music added?
No, well, they're adding in new music with the story pack like they have for Utopia expansion and the Leviathan story pack. He talked a bit about how he makes the music and finding the right tones that go along with his art style or his musical style and stuff like that. And it was decently interesting, but again, it was entirely about the music, and so there's not too much to talk about. Although, and this is entirely conjecture. People don't take what I'm saying as any sort of rule, or say that I have that we have secret knowledge from the devs or anything like that. Usually, when they put out a dev diary involving music, then that means they are relatively close to releasing the story pack involved. I'm not getting any transfer save. I'm sitting here at 0.0%.
That's weird. And we're just sitting here waiting for players.
Also, there's the fact that it's... Why is it... Okay, you know what? Let's try to bring that play capture. Ah! And now my stream is black.
We're blind.
Oh, I know why. It's trying to catch a totally different game that I tried recording something for, which, there we go. Okay, so it wasn't even. So it's been trying to capture my screen rather than Stellaris.
Is it loading then?
Well, now it's at 0.3%. Why is it going so slow? There shouldn't be anything that is, except for the stream itself, but the stream itself shouldn't be killing my internet this badly.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least not that badly.
Crap. What is going on? I don't know what to do. I guess I could try restarting Stellaris again.
That's okay.
Okay.
Let's get it done.
Restarting Stellaris one more time. Sorry, guys. Hopefully this will be the last.
No, you suck.
Oh, you shut up.
Good idea. Once it sounds pissed off, ignore it.
Anywho, so while we're trying to load this up, do you guys want to talk about the Babylon 5 episodes that we watched this past week?
Yes. So, this week we watched the first episode we watched was the Parliament of Dreams, which was the fifth episode in the first season.
I like that one.
I liked the Gakar plot that was going on, where he was trying to avoid being assassinated.
Oh yeah, that was enjoyable.
But they introduced a character, Catherine Sakai, and I hate her. The romance between Jeffrey Sinclair and Catherine Sakai is dumb, and I don't like it. Like, it sounded like a high school student trying to write a meta dialogue on romance. The conversation that the two characters had in the middle of the bar, it was just very off-putting, and I hate it.
Well, for what I know, not from personal experience, but from people I've met and talked to and all that, that is actually that is not an unrealistic situation to develop. That it is actually something similar to that is possible, and
Oh no. Like the romantic situation of like constantly running into the same person and like falling for them, but never having all of the, them always being like, one of the two people always being in a relationship currently, or one of them having to move away just as a relationship is starting. Yeah, like that's believable, but the conversation they have is just terrible. It's like,
you mean the fact that they're both actually aware of all these and still going through with it? Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, it's this meta aspect to it. It's like, this is the point. What's that?
I was gonna say, so you've never looked at something, said this is a bad idea, and gone through with it anyway.
But it's not even that. It's kind of like the writers were sitting down and saying like, oh, you know what? We should have this kind of a relationship. And they're like, okay, so, at the beginning of the conversation, one of them will mention like, why are we making this mistake again? And then the person will respond with like, oh, well, we've made this mistake several times. Like it's like the writers sat down and wrote out their notes for what they wanted the conversation to get through. And then the actors acted out their notes rather than the actual lines, the lines just weren't polished. It was kind of like someone got the Cliff Notes version of the conversation and read that instead of reading the actual lines.
Swarmlord, is it loading?
Yeah, it's loading slowly, but it's going.
Okay.
But that's how every conversation with Sinclair and Catherine seemed. Sinclair and Sakai seemed in this episode was like, oh, the writers either like, I guess they didn't have time to actually like flesh out lines, so they just had the characters say, oh, this is the line where I say this. Oh, this is the line where I say this, and instead of actually saying the lines, and it felt really weird and strange to me. It didn't feel like a conversation between humans. It felt like, again, it felt like someone picked up a script that was written by, a middle schooler or a high schooler who was like, jotting down their ideas of what they wanted the scene to be, but didn't actually get through to writing the thing.
I can see why you say that.
I didn't feel like that at all. Maybe that's because personally, I feel like conversations can sound like you're reading off notes. I feel like personally conversations can in fact be basically, look at us, we're doing the exact same thing over and over again. This is exactly everything we go through. I've had conversations like that, not about romance, but I've had conversations like that if you looked back on the conversation, you think, oh, did someone just pick up this script? Did someone just pick up this pile of notes and start reading them off?
Sounds like every D&D game ever.
See? But point is that maybe to you it felt awkward for that because for some reason. I personally think that depending on the people involved, it could be a natural conversation. That scene has never felt stilted or unnatural to me. So anyway, we're focusing a little too much on that part.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
The other plot was, of course, the Gakar assassination one, where Gakar gets a message at the beginning of the episode, and it's from someone from Homeworld saying, "Hey, remember that time you did this terrible thing to me? Well, I just died, and I've, in my will, left all of my money into hiring an assassin to kill you." And the rest of the episode is Gakar trying to avoid being assassinated and trying to figure out who's trying to assassinate him. And there's a fight at the end that's the climax of the episode where Gakar and his assistant take down the assassin, knock him out, wait for the time limit to go up on the assassination, because the original note said you will die within X number of hours.
I think it was 48
and
hours.
Yeah, I think it was 48 Earth hours, and so they waited for the 48 hours to go by, after which they deposited a sum of money into the assassin's account and framed him for not following through with the assassination, which is a violation of the assassin's contract and would make the other assassins in his guild kill him for not following through with the contract. Yeah, well, not ethical. Well, I guess
and therefore
weird,
kind of breaking their
blue and orange,
breaking their code of honor.
Yeah, there we go.
These assassins, they make their livelihood off of assuring that they will kill their target, and so for one of the assassins in the guild to accept a bribe and not kill the target means that their reputation goes down. So they framed him for that and told him, hey, get on the next ship, leave, hope you don't get assassinated by your compatriots.
And the part that made me love that part in particular was the cheery attitude that they have while telling him the situation.
Oh yeah.
I liked where they repeated the line back to him, because the assassin had these great dark brooding lines. One of them was, "You will know pain, then you will know fear, then you will die." And so as they're putting the assassin onto the shuttle to fly away and hide for the rest of his life, Gakar says, "First you will know pain." Yeah, he's waving and smiling and saying, "First you will know pain," and the assistant goes, "Then you will know fear," and then Gakar says, "And then you will die." Bye. And it's like almost the same body language and happy tone as you'd see on like a kids' children's show, which was hilarious to me.
Like, first you'll get this puppy, then you'll get this kitten, and then you will be happy.
Yeah, I mean that was the tone that was used.
Yeah, that was cool. It was it was very interesting.
I enjoyed it.
Yep. The next one, I'm blanking on the name. Either of you remember the name of the next one? I'm blanking on it. Right.
The next episode was called Mind War, and it introduced some of the politics back on Earth between Psychor and Earth Force.
That and psionics in general.
Yeah.
But basically, the was there a side plot in this one?
Let's see.
I think it primarily focused on the mind wall.
Yeah, I don't remember there being I don't remember. It was a couple of days ago, so.
Just to go back one episode, the Parliament of Dreams episode.
Oh yeah.
You forgot the other plot.
What other plot?
Oh,
the
right,
religion.
The religion subtext.
Oh yeah.
I remember the two subplots.
So the Babylon 5 station has a holiday where it was
an event that they had
right. They had a holiday. They had a vacation. They had an event where every one of the species got to have a time period allotted to them to show off the major religion or belief system of the planet. And so we see the Centauri have a feast, and the Minbari have some ceremony with lots of bells and stuff like that, and there are a few other ceremonies that go on, but at the end of the episode they have the Earth ceremony, where they have a line of people, and Sinclair goes, "This is so-and-so, he's an atheist. This is so-and-so, he's a Roman Catholic. This is so-and-so, he's an Orthodox Jew," and they go down the line and introduce a whole bunch of different religions. and it was pretty
as
touching.
the screen fades out, the line just continues and continues. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, like, I know it makes it so much easier to write, but Earth is always the only planet. You know, humans are the only species, and Earth is the only planet that ever has multiple ideas about anything. You know? Like, all Vulcans are this religion that follows Sarek, or whatever the name of the guy is. And all Klingons do this, and all Minbari do that, and all, you know, and even going back to, like, D&D, like, all elves are like this, and all dwarves are like that. And humans are the only ones that have variation. And, I mean, aside from, like, you know, every once in a while they'll say, oh, there's such and such separatist group. And then it's, like, never mentioned again after that episode in these sci-fi shows. So it's kind of strange. But
I mean, it was also kind of a good way to address that fact that it's almost always humanity.
You know what we should do? We should write our own sci-fi.
and we should have hundreds of different languages and religions for the aliens.
Oh,
And
boy.
you will make the languages, and me and Swarmlord will work on the religions.
I'll make the what?
You'll be doing the languages.
Oh, I don't know how to write languages.
Me neither. How's it going there?
Slightly over 25%. It's loading really slowly, and I have no idea why.
Just to go back to what you're saying about the Mind War episode, by the way, there was
I remember. I recall the subplot. I think I recall the subplot.
Yeah, with
that was,
what's her
Sigma
name?
359 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the second episode.
Yep.
The Mind War episode, which we were just getting to.
Which we were getting to before I threw back out that other plot.
Before we remember the other plot point. Math, is there something going on that's like slowing down your internet? Because I don't know why I'm getting the transfer so slowly.
You know, I can stop live streaming, and maybe that'll speed up the show for you.
Maybe, but I'm not sure if that would actually. It's just we've been sitting here for like almost 20 minutes since I first crashed, and I haven't been able to get back into the game.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stop live streaming for this week because of the lag issue. But you know, everyone that's watching my channel, go watch Swarmlords. He should be easy to find. And
or watch Math Jazz's later. Maybe he'll record it.
Maybe.
Instead of live streaming, it is easier on the computer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see you.
But anywho, I'm feeling really bad because I'm thinking, you know, I'd want to cut off this part of the live stream since it's basically looking at a loading screen for 20 odd minutes.
Well, no, it's also listening to us talk about Babylon 5.
True.
Which, as we were saying, so,
yeah.
Talia Winters, her instructor, with whom she had a romantic relationship, because Psychor is terrible with ethics, he sneaks away.
To be fair, it's not really a military organization or anything like that. And as far as I'm aware, it's like, isn't it only like really military organizations have like rules against that sort of thing? Or am I?
It's a bad idea.
It's very discouraged.
It's very discouraged, but
it's the bad idea to have relationships with students or teachers.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, isn't it like that's the only place that it's actually like against the rules? Like is like with people higher up is like the military.
No, there are all kinds of different rules, and maybe the military's ones are strictest. I'm not sure, but for example, in the math department where I work, if I want to go on a date with a student, I have to get clearance and permission from the dean to do that. So I have to fill out some paperwork, and I have to, the two of us have to come in and ask for permission. Not that I've ever done that, but that is the protocol.
It's safe to know the protocol one way or the other.
Yeah, but
anyway, if I recall, what's he actually her teacher? Because I don't actually remember that being a thing. I remember her.
Yeah, he was a teacher. They don't say if it was her specifically, but he was a teacher there, and they did do some teaching together.
And that might be why I don't remember it, because if he wasn't her teacher, then. Anywho, moving on.
Is it loading faster?
A little faster. It's jumped up about, considering that it took about 20 minutes to get to 25, and now I'm almost at 35 in the span of about a minute.
Yeah, it's moving. That's about my usual speed. Which
okay. So, as we were saying, Talia Winter's instructor, who is Jason Ironheart, he reveals that he got experimented on, that they were trying to figure out ways to use telekinetic abilities to, like, cut off people's arteries so that they would die.
Use telekinetics to make an assassin, because it's very, because if you have precise control over small amounts, telekinetics would actually be very deadly. You just close the artery that leads to the brain, and the person dies.
Yep. And so they're trying to do this, and they're experimenting on a bunch of people, including Jason Ironheart, who as the experiment is going on, he develops greater and greater psychic abilities until he's able to find out that this is their goal, and he does not like it, so he escapes, and he kills the guy that invented the science that allowed them to do that.
The specific procedures and chemicals and all that. The exact combination that unlocked his abilities.
Yeah, and now
Psychor's after him.
Yes, Psychor's after him, and so they show up and they tell Sinclair they're looking for a fugitive, and it's
very neat
ends up
and all this crap.
Ends up at the end of it.
Wow, you're skipping over a lot. I mean, it's steadily, the more that goes on, the more that Sinclair goes to Cyclops. You're not telling me what I need to know, and they tell him a little bit more, but then they're like, but they throw in lies and tell him that, stuff's on a need to know basis, and then people get hurt, killed, and Sinclair gets worse. And basically, it's just an escalating moment of, the more this goes on, the more it reinforces that these Cyclops are very uncaring about any sort of collateral, anything that involves normal people. They want to they're imposing their will on the psionics around them, and that they want to get their result regardless of what the consequences would be.
Yep.
And it was towards the end of the end line is that Sinclair meets with Ironheart and agrees to help basically try to smuggle him off the station. Partially because the Psychor has been very has been making things basically worse in terms of not telling people involved. Several people were injured as Ironheart's abilities continued to grow and threatened to ruin the station.
The sad part is that they had just behaved. They probably might have gotten him.
Yeah. And so as they're trying to smuggle him off the station, the two Cyclops basically end up coming and confronting them. And Ironheart disintegrates one of them with his abilities, and then knocks the other one out and manages to get out into a shuttle, which then promptly explodes into energy, and he pops up as like a being of pure energy.
And if there's any Stargate fans out there, he ascended.
He's what? Oh.
Ascended to a higher plane of existence.
Yeah. So then he gives Talia a gift as basically a in memory of love. I give you the only gift I can, and then he leaves. He kind of shoots off into the distance, and that's the last we see of him.
And he doesn't even say what the gift is. He just sort of vanishes.
Well, we see what the gift is in
later, but no one else knows.
Yeah, no one else knows what the gift is. It's he gives Talia telekinetics.
Yeah, because in the show we're told that 1 in 10,000 people have telepathy, the ability to like communicate mind to mind.
Psionic.
And of those people that have some sort of psionic ability, only 1 in 10,000 of them have.
I thought it was 100,000.
Telekinesis.
It was like
I thought it was 1 in 10,000 at each step, but it might be 1 in 100,000. It was a very small percentage.
Yeah, very small. It's a very small percentage of psychics have telekinetics. And furthermore, a vast majority of the ones that do are insane or mentally unstable.
Yep, and that was part of the experiments. They wanted to make a stable one.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and then we also the surviving side cop, a man named Bester. Was it Bester or Besker?
Bester.
Bester. Okay. I don't know why that slipped my mind. I've seen it several times. I've seen Babylon 5 a couple of times, and it's not staying in my head today. And yeah, he says basically that they'd see him again, I think, and when he leaves, but Sinclair actually manages to force him to basically
lie
in his report, because if not, then Sinclair would report that it was Besker's actions led to the death of his fellow Psycop and nearly destroyed Babylon 5.
Which again is semi-true. If he had just behaved, he would have gotten what they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, more than likely. Who knows?
Anywho, I'm sitting just below 42%. This is really bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not my internet connection. My stream is going out really well. But as amazing as the loading screen of Stellaris is. But the save file is not transferring very quickly, which is why I'm wondering if there's stuff going on. Like, Math, is anyone at your parents' place like watching Netflix or something like that?
Nope. Everyone left to go have dinner at some family friend except me.
Well, obviously it's not my place because we're family friends.
I'm just wondering why it's so, especially because earlier I managed to load in just fine. Earlier when we first got on, my game loaded up really quickly.
I don't know. Anyway, so the B plot of Mind War was between Gakar and Catherine Sakai, who is terrible. And she wanted to go out into a certain sector to do a mining examination. And Gakar says there are dangerous things out there. And she says, you're just trying to get the stuff that's out there for yourself.
To be fair, humans are pretty new out in space. They weren't out very long before. They've been out for maybe a couple decades.
No, like she was actually right to doubt him.
To be skeptical.
Yeah, because what are they called? The Gorn? The Zorn? The Narn seem to be fairly willing to bend truth.
And he even admitted to that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Narns. The Narns are basically, if I recall correctly, re-kickstarting, if not their space empire or space nation, because they got taken over by the Centauri, and then they only recently managed to regain independence. So her doubt is basically, you're just trying to hang on to every scrap of space you can, because even if you can't exploit it, you don't want someone else having it.
Yeah.
Now, I find this as Centauri taking anybody in show 4 to be ridiculous. just from the Centauri we've seen.
You haven't seen their war fleets.
True, but from their personalities, I have a hard time seeing them taking over anybody.
Yeah. I mean, they're very. One of my friends who was watching it. Me and Jeff actually watched it together.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. He compared the Centauri to Rome, which, if you recall, was actually fairly good when it came to their military.
Oh yeah.
So it may have been. I mean, it was basically more of Rome on the decline, but it was still Rome.
The party scene.
Yeah.
Different episode, but that was funny.
Yeah. But anyway, so the point is that when the Centauri we haven't seen the Centauri really need to go to war. There have been a few moments, but since the majority of the time the Centauri have believed it's either more trouble than it's worth, or it hasn't actually gotten to the point where it is. We haven't actually seen them fight back. So we haven't actually seen them fight. So don't just count them out for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but going back to the B plot.
Yeah. So she goes out there and something attacks the ship that she's in, and
it doesn't really. It's something appears, and the result of her encountering it damages her ship. If you notice, actually, it looked like it popped into existence. It basically showed up and then left. It didn't actually interact with her at all, or maybe it did, and we don't know. That's kind of goes on to summarize it. Basically, she nearly crash lands on the planet, and a couple of Narn heavy fighters sent by Jakar rescue her. She comes back and asks Jakar what the heck that is, and the scene where he explains about this is fantastic. They're by this little flower stand. He's like, "What is this?" She's like, "It's an ant. They come from Earth a lot with all the stuff that gets shipped out." He's like, "If I pick this up and put it back down, and it asks another ant, what was that?" It wouldn't be able to explain it. And it's basically, there are things out there that are far older and more powerful than us. That to us, we are but ants. And that both gladdens me and terrifies me. And basically that the universe is full of mysteries, and that there are things out there that are far older and more powerful than any species there. And
even like the final scene of MIB2.
Something. If I don't
open the locker and open one of the lockers and really, really big aliens.
I don't remember that one.
I remember
it was the very, very last scene.
I think I only watched that movie once, and it was a long while.
Fair enough.
But just having that moment where it was where there are things that no one that no one knows, that there are mysteries out there, even after however long all these species have been out and about, and it is wondrous and terrifying all at the same time. Hey, my save transfer is actually going up. It's about 65%.
Well, that's something.
Like, it jumped up like 20% in the last 2 minutes, maybe minute and a half, and it's still going. Oh, it just took over half an hour. God, frickin' dang it! I am so sorry, guys. When I Tick Rules mentioning, didn't the last Men in Black scene show our galaxy was a marble in a Giant's collection as well? I think I remember that one.
That's the first one, but yeah, actually, yeah, it happened with both. Yeah, they had similar stuff in both.
I think that was kind of a thing with Men in Black.
Well, the thing was is that in the first episode, there was the galaxy that was about a marble size that they had to protect, and then they find out that not only were they protecting a marble-sized galaxy, but our galaxy is inside of a marble-sized sphere that other aliens play marbles with. And in the second one, the Men in Black go to a locker in an airport or a train station or something, I forget, and find a whole world of aliens inside of there. And then it parallels to at the end of that movie, we find out that not only is there a locker that contains a world in New York, but there's also all of this world is inside of a locker that's in someone else's airport, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a funny little thing.
And
I was about to say the universe is bigger and smaller than expected.
Yeah. It's kind of like in Futurama, the box containing a galaxy, box containing a universe episode. Do you remember that?
I remember that. I remember that.
I haven't seen any Futurama.
Oh, we need to watch Futurama sometime. Maybe after we're done with Babylon 5.
That'll take a while if we just keep watching 2 episodes a week. Because there's 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, well, I mean, we go.
Yeah,
But yeah, Futurama is a great series because it well, the thing that I really like is that the series has its writing staff had a lot of advanced mathematicians, like people that studied advanced mathematics, and so there are all kinds of weird references to cool mathematics in the show.
Oh my gosh, I'm back. I'm back.
Wonderful.
Oh god.
What?
We will unpause now.
Let's hope that I just don't crash again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, trying not to give out any like specific spoilers about Babylon 5, but in my opinion, that's one of the things I absolutely love about Babylon 5 is that very often there will be plenty of moments throughout the entire series where you will never fully know what happened. You will never fully understand the event that was that played out. Just that willingness to keep a level of mystery that a lot of other science fiction universes tend to try to rationalize away or explain, and to make it make some sort of scientific sense. And Babylon 5 just kind of says, "We don't know."
You don't get that.
Yeah, and I personally love that. But yeah, so anywho, now with however much time we've got left, we'll try to
Hostile fleet engaged.
Pretty great right now. I'll try to actually finish this war that will wipe out the Awakened Empire for good.
Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle. I don't want us to stop working towards the finishing of this game, but I would love to see us get another one.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if we might want to start a new one. I mean, the biggest problem is that
when the next story pack comes out, I'm gonna say we
Oh.
definitely either work to finish it off quickly, or we just end it.
Yeah, if the next story pack comes out and we're still not done, I'd say we just move on. Because we've already beaten the Unbidden. If the only other crisis that we'd have to worry about would be the Scourge, which I don't think the Scourge would quite have as much of a problem. They'll probably have very large fleets, but I don't think they'll be nearly as large as the as the initial unbidden one, which I could take that on probably one-on-one at this moment. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty sure that, whoa! Hello there.
It appears evil has taken root within the Ixodar Star Collective.
Yep, we have received troubling news that the citizens of that star nation are now mutilating their own bodies on a massive scale, installing profane mechanical implants in place of the body parts they were gifted with at birth. They have even gone so far to rename their species to the High Ixodars, yet another sign of their commitment to abandon their origins and embrace the cold soullessness of technology.
This is an affront to nature.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't say anything like evil. It just says, hey,
this is what these people are doing.
Yeah.
Construction complete.
This is cute. You are a filthy materialist.
I want to be materials, but they wouldn't let me. The game was fighting me. So I gave up and decided next time.
Materialists are great.
I wanted to do robots.
I've been building lots of robots.
Yeah, lucky you. I like robots.
Math, have you actually started down any ascension paths? Or what?
So,
what have you been doing for ascension perks?
Let's see.
Because I haven't heard. Me and Guillermo have been talking about it, but you've done like nothing. We haven't heard. I don't think we've actually heard anything you've been saying about ascension perks. If you've actually been saying anything about them.
I don't think I have been saying anything about them. Let me check. So if I click on the Unity tab, my ascension perks are Technological Ascendancy, One Vision, and Interstellar Dominion.
Fair enough. You only have 3? Wow.
Yeah, I have 3.
Well, no, only 3. I have 5. And I'm close to getting number 6. And Diarmud?
How many do I have?
Yeah.
First of the month, I couldn't. I was looking at something else. You almost have 6, really?
I need 2 more. I need 2 more traditions, and I'll get one of them in a couple months.
Ah, I have 4, but I almost have. But I'm working on the 5th with the Ascension Theory.
Hmm.
I'm waiting to go into any more wars. My biggest thing that's been holding me back in the last wars was my fleet strength is good enough that I can take on almost anybody except for you.
Yeah.
For me. It's just my army strength can't be spread around that much, so I've been trying to increase my army. Looking a lot prettier.
Situation log updated.
Oh. You're kidding.
Fleet destroyed.
By the way, I'm making assault armies with the Yuri.
Destroyed.
You're turning my people into soldiers.
Yep.
Well, we have synthetic and psionic. Oh right. Guillermo, you could go for the biological one since you can't access the synthetic one. And
What do I need to do that?
you just
That's
need.
it was look. What?
You should only need the biological the ability to biologically to modify population.
So engineered evolution.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you could go for ring worlds, but I mean, the only thing you need for
Ring world is what I'm considering doing next, one way or the other.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't know what I'm going for.
But yeah, it's engineered
I'm
evolution.
considering not master builders, the other one.
Galactic Wonders.
Yeah, after that.
The Lego movie?
What?
Master Builders?
That's a tradition. Master Builders is a tradition perk that allows you to build megastructures twice as fast.
I would love to get a dice. I'd love to get some Dyson spheres going. But again, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. Oh well, I'll decide in the moment.
Lag is just bad. But yeah, but Math, if you have synths, you could actually get both. You can actually have your next two tradition perks be, going with the starting down the synthetic ascension path. You could start off with getting the flesh is weak, which basically it decreases robot maintenance cost, increase robot build speed, and gives you a special project which enhances all citizens with cybernetic implants. With synthetic evolution, further decreasing robot maintenance by 25%, increasing robot build speed by 25%, and prepares a special project to transfer the minds of your citizens into synthetic bodies. I reach into the shroud. No, I can't yet. I need some time still.
Construction complete.
Hey! Army damage increased by 25%, and next level, the Great Game. Unity output increased by 10% per neighboring rival. Once I finish this tree, my fire rate will be increased by 15%. So my fleets will be even better. It'll just take me over 10 years. Actually closer to 15. Dropping in the war mines. AKA my psionic armies. He has xenomorph armies. Whole mess of them.
Enemy planet secured.
Ugh. Lag is really bad, and I have no idea if this is... I seem to be lagging behind the most. I'm wondering if that's just because I'm selecting my fleet, and that's what's killing it. Because my fleet has several hundred vessels. Or 300 battleships, 250 corvettes, and 100 cruisers.
Could be that.
Why are you going into orbit around that planet? I've already conquered it. Ugh.
So, does this mean the Cerulean Alliance is attacking you too? Because...
Yes.
Okay. And the Ixidar?
Yes. I'm literally at war with everyone except you guys and the Havaragi systems.
And the two Fallen
Oh,
Empires?
and the two Fallen Empires, because they won't get involved in, like, anything. That said, I could probably walk all over these guys. Probably nothing. I definitely could.
I don't know why you can't have multiple things orbiting a star or a planet.
Game balance.
I can't have a research station and a frontier outpost orbiting a star.
Evading hostile fleet.
Well, in this case,
'Cause
the Frontier Outpost also functions as the research station. It just also goes to manage your borders at the same time. Oh, gosh.
Wait, really?
Yes, it functions as both.
Huh. I didn't know that. I thought I had to pick one or the other.
No, you don't.
Okay, well then why can't I upgrade from one to the other?
Because they have totally different functions, and the Frontier Outpost costs influence. The research station doesn't. And you can't build a research outpost unless it's in your territory. In which case, technically, you might not need a Frontier Outpost. And a Frontier Outpost is its primary purpose is to expand your territory, which is why you. But building it around a star, it gives you the resources the star would give you, so that way you don't have to worry about choosing between expanding your territory or those extra resources.
Hmm. Well, what I found really useful is building frontier outposts on the border to push my border forward and then colonize a planet that was in someone else's territory.
Yeah, I know. That's not an unusual strategy. Why is the Ixidar Star Collective sending troops around through my territory to go to the Peacekeeper territory? This is getting really annoying. Anywho, this is just slow going.
Well, I am colonizing the 11 or so planets that I got an episode and a half ago. So that's exciting to me. There are a whole bunch of planets that I had to terraform because they got wiped out by the Unbidden.
Yeah. Like Pros.
Yes, like Pros.
The poor Prosnikins. I think they have like only one world where their species is, well, okay, I guess not. I guess it's not only one world where their species survives, but I might have some. Do I have some? Yes, I actually have some Prosnikins.
Well, that's exciting.
Enemy planet secured.
Ah.
should I tell you guys about my schedule for the next term?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh no, I said have I told you?
I don't think you have.
Okay, so this is how it goes. I have 1 year left to finish my degree, okay? And I have 13 credits of dissertation hours that I need to take, and I'm considered full-time if I'm taking 8.5 credits a term, okay?
Okay.
So, if I set 8.5 credits of dissertation hours for 2 semesters from now, my last semester, that means I have no other classes that I need to take that term, okay?
Mhm.
I guess one other thing to mention is that the math department is paying for any math classes I take. And then once I'm full-time at 8.5 credits, anything that I choose to take after that is free, okay?
Okay.
So, so the way that this works is I put 8.5 credits of dissertation hours on my last semester, so that I can take whatever I want my last semester, and it's free. And I'm hoping to be done with my dissertation by then. So even though I'll be signed up for 8.5 dissertation hours, I shouldn't have any more work to do on my dissertation because I'm hoping to be done writing it by then. That means that next semester I can put 4.5 credits of dissertation work down, and then I have 4 credits left that I need to take to be considered full-time. And so I've been going around trying to figure out what to take for these last 4 credits. And the math department has something called a readings course. Basically, it's when you have to study something that's so specific that there's no class on it. So you just say, hey, professor, whomever you are, I want to read this textbook, and I'll tell you what I learned about it. I'll meet once a week to tell you what I learned. And these readings classes can be, 1 or 2 credit classes, depending on what the professor approves. So I talked to my advisor, and he approved a 2 credit readings course on a book that I'm reading for my dissertation. And I talked to another professor, and he approved a 1 credit readings course on a different book that I'm reading for my dissertation. And that leaves me with 1 final credit. I've been trying all summer to try and figure out what to do with 1 last credit. And so eventually, the department sent out an email to all of us saying, there's this 1 credit this 1 credit psychology class that's, how to teach better. And it would be good for grad students to take it. And so I went and I talked and I said, hey, even though this isn't a math class, since you guys are asking us to take this class if we can fit it into our schedule, can that count as my last credit for the department, and can the department pay for it? And they said, sure. So that means that I now have, even though I'm signed up for 8.5 credits for the next 2 terms, like each term, so I'm full-time each term, all of that time will be spent either researching for my dissertation, or it'll be a 1 credit how to teach people course, which is pretty fantastic.
That is.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I have to write the dissertation regardless, and I have to do the research for it regardless. It's just nice that I can count the research as classwork. So, I'm super excited for this last year of my college education.
Because basically you get to use the system and say, hey, I'm taking classes, and the classes happen to be everything I need for the dissertation that I needed to write anyway.
Yeah, and so I'm fairly excited about this because it means that I have no time commitments next semester before 4 o'clock. So my workday starts at 4 in the afternoon.
Nice.
Because,
Jeez.
I guess I have a 1 hour psychology class on Thursdays at 11 in the morning. But other than that, I start at 4 o'clock, I teach my classes, and that means that the rest of the day, when I'm not teaching, I can be doing research on my dissertation.
Again. Jeez.
So, I am very excited.
Don't blame you.
Yeah. So, I've just queued up another 50 cruisers to add to my fleet. You heard that right, 50 cruisers.
That is a lot of cruisers. I am
That
very
is.
impressed.
And I did that with it. I did that all with only adding in enough money from 1 month, and or adding in the mineral income from a change of month once, and I still had more than that amount of income. So I'd had enough between my energy credits and that I could trade and my actual mineral income. I had enough to queue up 50 cruisers just on hand. I love being at this level. Oh, math.
Yes.
By the way, the Tick Rules had a suggestion. I mean, you've got it all figured out and all that, but he had a suggestion on what your last class should have been.
What?
To take a physical ed class and look at the cute girls.
Ah. Well, I took a dance class this summer. Does that count?
We'll give a minute for the stream for him to catch up on the stream, and we'll see what he says.
Enemy planet secured.
And I'm working on another habitat. That would make 6 total when this is done.
Nice.
Oh, I love habitats. If for no other reason than even if they have a set amount of tiles they can have, those tiles all have larger amounts of anything.
So the Tick Rule says, sure, that's close enough.
I'm glad the Tick Rules approves.
So am I. I wouldn't want to know what happens if you didn't.
So, the Tick Rules. Your name comes from the old cartoon The Tick, right? And we'll wait for him to answer that. Like, my sister and her husband got really into The Tick and had me watch a few episodes, and they were really funny, but I've never gotten around to going back to the show. But every Sunday when you're on the stream, I think, man, I should go find where I can watch The Tick. And watch, the Tick Rules is going to say it has nothing at all to do with his name.
So figure.
It'd be hilarious. Like, oh yeah, it has nothing at all to do with this show.
His response, yes, I was creating my very first internet username while watching it. It kind of stuck since then.
I'm glad that I am. Yeah.
Construction ship under attack. Situation log updated. Evading hostile fleet.
Not again.
Were you disconnected again?
No, not that. Luckily, sorry.
Still bad, but not that. Okay.
It's the Ixodar. For some reason, they're sending the Federation fleets through my territory to get up to the Peacekeepers. They're sending ships around through Math Jazz's territory, and they come all the way up through my territory and basically wreck several vessels and whatnot that I've got coming through, and mining stations and whatnot, in order to merge with their Federation fleet, which is sitting up in the Mizar system at the top of the Peacekeepers territory. It is very annoying. Ah. Oh wow. If I took off one planet and let it go, I'd only need 10 more points. But if I put on one more planet, instead of it being 18 points, it'd be 48 points. Basically, I'd need to get 100% war score. Because I'd be annexing the Peacekeepers entirely, and they don't like that.
No.
I mean, it makes sense, but still. And I've cut the Ixadar's non-Federation fleet, and I'm wrecking their face. Just go in and see. Oh man, just wrecking them. So many Giga Cannon shots. Oh hey, I think they actually shot back. What do they shoot back with? They've been shooting back with tachyon lances, kinetic artillery, neutron torpedoes, gamma lasers, and phased disruptors. But they've been firing back more than I've seen. I just haven't actually seen all the shots go. I just seen it. They're only down to their battleships now, though. They're not going to win. But yeah, going back a little bit on the tick rules is username situation. Actually, kind of same sort of situation I made on mine. I actually came up with Swarmlord 39 way back when I first made a BattleNet account. Back when I first started playing StarCraft, I needed a BattleNet account, or was it? Or it was, and well, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't StarCraft. It might have been. I made a BattleNet account. No, it was the original StarCraft. I think I made it back on for the original StarCraft, and it stuck around for when I made it for the little while I was playing World of Warcraft, and then eventually StarCraft 2 came out, and it kind of stuck as my main gaming name since. Just a little interesting tidbit there.
I know mine flipped around a bit. When I was younger, I had 2 or 3 different ones. Then when I started playing around with these guys, I just picked one that I liked. It's a character from Celtic mythology.
Diarmuid?
Mm-hmm. Celtic mythology.
Okay, tell us that story.
I would, but it's kind of complicated.
Well, most mythology is complicated.
It's a bunch of little. It's primarily a bunch of little stories, but he's an interesting character. I'm trying to think of where to start. Actually, I have no idea. I'll answer that question next time after I actually do some research. I've done research in the past. Thought cool character. Moved on.
Didn't you say it also was connected to like Fate Stay Night back when we were talking about it with our friend?
Fate Zero, but yeah.
Fate Zero.
The main character, one of the servants in Fate Zero. That's part of what made me go, I wonder more about this character. By the way, have you seen Fate Zero, Swarmlord?
I have not. I started watching part of the original Fate Stay Night.
Go straight for him. Loaded Blade works.
Well, let me.
Sorry, finish.
Yeah. Well, I started watching a bit of it, and then I kind of fell. That was back when I was watching a lot of shows and whatnot, and then there was a point in time that I stopped watching. I stopped. I started doing a lot of other things instead, and mostly gaming, some reading. I stopped, but I just stopped watching a lot of shows, and a lot of shows that I used to watch kind of fell by the wayside at that point, such as the Fate Stay series.
Well, if you ever do decide to pick it back up, go straight from Unlimited Blade Works. It's way better. It's different story paths, the same characters.
That's what I've heard. I mean, I've been meaning to, but again, there's just a lot of stuff I've been.
If you ever do decide to get back to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I've been meaning to catch back up to.
Well, I asked because you remember the basic way the servant system went, right?
Oh, the Tick Rules mentioned Dierwood was in Fate Stay Zero a little bit ago. I missed that comment.
Well, I do remember this one bit from its mythology is that, and if the series fell true to the myth, he could have been a lancer or a saber because in the Celtic mythology he did use swords too. Just an interesting little side fact. Because most of the servants have the ability to be one of several different servants depending on their backstory.
Oh my gosh. I think my game nearly crashed right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it definitely froze. It flashed. It like flashed white.
No, you're not allowed to crash until after I get Ascension Theory.
Oh my gosh.
Bad, Swarmlord. Bad.
I will do my best to make sure my game does not crash again.
Until after I get it. After that, I don't care. I want to get it this episode.
I'm basically chasing around. I'm basically chasing these fleets around, trying to catch up to them, and it's just not really working.
I now have I'm working on my 4th megastructure in my home system.
Your 4th habitat?
Mm-hmm. In my home system.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going for the Voidborn on the next one. I actually heard that a system filled with energy habitats specifically for focusing on energy is actually better than a Dyson sphere.
Well, you can't focus directly on it because you have to throw a few in there. You have to take up at least 2 to 3 tiles. 3, in my opinion, is the best choice for food.
I've got over 2,000 food coming in elsewhere, so I'm pretty sure I can afford to just do all energy. Yeah, the Tick Rules is mentioning on the origin, like going back to the Fate Stay Night thing about the Unlimited Blade Works being, because it's based on an adult dating sim, and they were just different, and just the 2 stories were based on different routes in the story, different routes.
I keep hearing that, but I go, I can see it, but this is way better.
Well, who knows? Maybe someone will make it one of those adaptations that throw out all the adult stuff, and then you can brag about playing it or something.
Maybe, who knows?
I know they do that with a few games. I actually have one that apparently over in Japan is actually got adult material in it, but the adaptation that they made is definitely does not, because I've gone through a couple different routes on it.
Construction complete.
Okay. Dick Rules mentions there's no sex in the anime, but you can easily see the spots where it would have been fairly easily.
Yes. Yes.
There's honestly plenty of moments in shows where it's like the fade to black or the
Good show.
or wait, what? It's a show called that?
The Fade to Black is a show.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Oh no, I'm thinking Darker Than Black. My mistake.
Darker Than Black. Oh my gosh, that was a great one. Anyway, but
My mistake.
my point, what I was saying was nothing to deal with Darker Than Black, but just moments where fade to black, cut somewhere else, all that sort of those sorts of little strategies that they do to make sure that to make sure that they don't actually show up.
Construction complete.
Make sure that sort of thing does not actually show up, but you know very clearly where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion.
Nah.
Just, I mean, if you're gonna take it out, you're gonna take it out. If you're not, you're not. And
Construction complete.
whoa, hold on. New presence in the shroud. Another species in our nations, the Banthurians, are beginning to manifest latent psionic abilities. We are now forced with facing the same choice as before. Will we suppress or unleash their burgeoning power? We will unlock their potential. And which species was this? This species has an unknown homeworld. Were they initially from the preserve, then?
Very possible.
I don't see them on the preserve. I've got like 83 in my freaking empire, but I don't actually know where they're from.
What are they called again?
The Banthurians.
I have 127 of them.
Where are they from?
Darochem?
Yeah.
I think.
Is a species from the planet Darochem.
Darochem, do you know which system that's in? Where that's from? Because I've got like 83 of these guys, and I don't remember where these guys came from.
It's in Math Jazz's space.
Oh, so they must have migrated into my empire from Math Jazz.
Where are they? Like, where is Darochem?
Way bottom.
Situation log updated.
It's in a system called Nitris.
Ah,
N-E-E-Tris.
that's where I build all my stuff.
Ooh.
Yep. Banthurian.
But yeah,
They are
so-
very strong, short lifespan pacifists that have toasters, apparently.
that have what?
It says it needs 0.75 units of consumer goods every month.
You know what I think is stupid?
What?
That none of the space stations can have mega weapons.
That's true. You'd think that they would be more like, since a space station is big enough to build, battleships and
least
stuff like
one.
that.
Oh, and I mean the actual battle stations they get set out in the middle of nowhere, not directly attached to a planet.
Well, I mean, it sort of makes sense. At the same time, they might add it in later on. They might not. I feel like that if they did, it'd probably be making another level of station. They really need to add in another level that's even if it's way more expensive, that's actually more likely to be able to survive the end game fleets that start going around.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, when you've got the large end battle stations, and it's like they are, oh, how big are they? They're not very big. That one, you have a 1.5 defense station, 1.5 defense station, and let's say have fortress. But yeah, but like when the fortresses are not actually all that strong, then it gets annoying.
I suppose since they are supposedly high end.
Yeah.
I guess it's so that it incentivizes people to be on the aggressive, rather than like turtling and building defensive stations everywhere.
Maybe, but I mean, wouldn't it make a sense for that sort of strategy? I mean, especially once you get megastructures. Once you get megastructures, you're capable of encasing stars. You're capable of making ring worlds the size of a planet's orbit.
Yeah,
It would make sense that you'd be able to make some sort of super fortress that would be incredibly difficult to crack.
Oh, I agree in the real world, but as you said before, game balance. I don't remember what you said that about, but
it was about the science posts and the frontier outpost circling it. But I mean, it just makes sense. Even maybe even just putting in a new ascension perk that's specifically like mega fortresses or something.
That would work.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like several 100K strong. Just like making it so that way it actually takes a fleet to take it on, makes a large fleet to take it on, rather than you'd have to spam like 20 fortresses to equal a small fleet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even in the modded games I'm playing, the largest fleet power, or the largest space station power I've seen is like 200K. That's the largest, and it was like the modder basically made it so you'd only ever have one of those at a time.
Which makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Because that's stronger than what are they called? That's stronger than Leviathans.
Yeah, but it was like that was like literally with every endgame tech maxed out, which included several very powerful modded in techs. But basically it was even with all the modded weaponry and whatnot, it was still only equal. It was still at most equal to a vanilla Fallen Empire's fleet. That was most. So the point is that, you know, I don't think it would be too hard for the developers to add in something like that if they wanted.
Or at least a tech that that adds another thing to the fortress level, so you can actually add that.
Yeah.
Make weapons.
Yeah.
But that was my
Initial complaint.
that was my official complaint for 2 seconds. Well, it's meant to be 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, sorry. There's just...
I don't care.
Just wrecking some enemy fleet.
Situation log updated.
black holes are so pretty in this game.
This guy's fleet leave? Oh, yeah, he left because one of my vassals is in his space killing his dudes. My vassal is in his base killing his dudes. There we go. I And he's taking on a Fortress class, which is only about 4K. That Fortress class has like most end-level tech, and it's 4K.
In a way, that makes sense, but at the same time, you can only have like what 2, 3, 4 in the same system at once.
Yeah,
and even Math Jazz's fleet, which is weaker than both yours and mine, would be able to wipe right through that.
Yeah.
Without much of a sweat. Without a sweat. I don't know how strong his fleet is right now. How strong is your fleet right now, Math Jazz?
80K.
Yeah, without a sweat. Last I remembered, it was around 50, 60. But definitely bigger. Nice.
Okay, so if I told him to go in there, would he be able to go through this guy's territory? Yes, he can actually go through this guy's territory. Because I've got a max. I've got to get. Well, okay. I guess I don't have to get 100%. I only have to get 40 more points to win. So that's 95%. And it'll probably go down a little bit more because of the length of the war. It will drop down to where I only have to get 89%. That's still another like 30% though. Hey, Diarmuid.
Yo.
I'm going to be using one of your systems as my base of operations for the rest of this fight.
No.
You have no say in the matter.
Situation log updated.
Want to bet?
Hey, I have a question. Can one of you look at my stats and tell me how many pops I have? Since apparently we can't look at them ourselves.
You have 2,202.
Awesome.
Really?
You questioned it. Okay. In all seriousness, let's see if I can remove it right now. It was just to prove a point that, yeah, I can't. Uh-huh.
I know you actually could. My point... It wasn't
Ascension theory!
It wasn't a point of you could... It wasn't a point of you actually couldn't. It was more a point of a...
What exactly is the gene seed purification?
Gene seed purification allows you to get gene warrior armies, which are individually the toughest armies in the game. Nothing actually is better. The only things that might be of equal would be the psionic ones, which do a lot more morale damage, and the robotic ones, which don't take any sort of morale damage, so they can't break.
Hmm.
Those are the only ones that might be equal to them.
Now I'm conflicted. Because I do want to pick up Circle of Life so I can get the Ring Worlds. But I do kind of want to move into Engineer Evolution. Okay, let's do it.
Which one did you pick up?
Neither yet. I'm doing this a different way. I'm going online. I'm going to, because I don't want to leave the computer and go find a coin.
I could just do a head. I have coins right here. I could just flip heads or tails for you.
Okay, heads Engineered Evolution, tails Ring Worlds.
Okay. Heads.
Engineer Evolution it is. Sometimes evolution needs a nudge in the right direction. We now have the technology to genetically modify our bodies and minds to endure the trials of the ever-changing environment at an unprecedented rate.
And if you get the next level, then it makes it stupidly cheap to swap out modification costs. I mean, you've already got minus 50% to modify species special project, and the next one will give you plus 25%. The one you got gives you plus 2 trait points to use, and gives you a potential plus 3 on the next one. Additionally, the Engineered Evolution gives you the Gene Seed Purification, but Evolutionary Mastery gives you Gene Resequencing, which allows you to swap out any traits, positive or negative, and allows you also to swap between, and also gives you access to several unique ones that you would not be able to get otherwise. Since the psionic awakening of the Bantherian, our informants report that some individuals belonging to the same species elsewhere have also begun to show signs of latent psionic abilities. It is as if their common ancestry links them in the shroud, regardless of the physical distance between them. Unlike their distant relatives in our nation, however, they are few and far between, and it is unlikely they'll ever reach a full awakening. So yeah, that entire species is now latent psionics, unless they're in my empire, where they are completely psionic.
I'm now researching Gene Warrior tech.
That's cool.
Dude, if you had appearance of human, I'd say you're becoming the Imperium of man. I've been hanging out with him too long.
Yes.
Considering that was my first thought. That was my first thought. You had. Okay, jumping my transport fleet out of the way. Lag spike. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I'm gonna jump right in on top of the next Ixodar on the Ixodar's main fleet. They were rebuilding their fleet, trying to rebuild and prepare, and I'm about to jump in right on top of. I'm getting ready to jump in right on top of where their fleet is currently at. I really want this war to end by the end of the episode, but I mean, we took a long while, and you know, it's almost hit the 2-hour mark as it is.
Yeah.
I want to give more gameplay. I want to give more gameplay, and I also want to, you know, actually play some more because, you know, didn't actually spend over almost at least half an hour just trying to actually get in the frickin' game again. Oh, and my fleet literally jumped in right on top of these guys.
Situation log updated.
And suddenly, lines of my matter disintegrators lancing into their fleet from point blank.
Situation log updated.
And that is that. flag spike again.
Alien spaceport engaged.
I'm bringing in another 17 psionic armies. Why did I only have 17? Ah! Wait a minute. Nope, never mind. Wait, what? What? I seem to have encountered a bug. Because this... Why are these ones not the same? Oh, because two of them are Latin psionics rather than actual psionics. Because I've got two of my species that were outside my empire when I became psionic, so they were no longer actual psionics. They were only latent psionics. I was wondering why the crap is it not letting me build more of these psionic armies? Because, you know, there's only two of this technically. There's only two of this technical Uri subgroup. The one that's on the group that's only latent psionics rather than than total psionics. So now I'm just screwing with the Ixodars. I'm in their base. I just need, you know, like 30 more points.
Okay, who died?
What?
One of my scientists just died.
That day.
Is the one on my science ship?
Enemy
No,
planet
huh?
secured.
Which scientist? Oh, that scientist. Okay. I can live with that scientist dying. I wasn't using it.
Who died? Oh, I can live with this guy dying. He's not important.
Unfortunately, no. He was just lazing about enjoying his grant money.
He could use his grant money for whatever he wanted. He had a big flat screen TV. Yeah.
And an unlimited amount of Xena episodes.
Wait, who had grant money?
The Air Moon scientist who just died.
Oh,
It's because I forgot I had one scientist that wasn't doing anything, so I was making a joke that he was lazing about enjoying his grant money.
okay.
So, Swarmlord, you thought that was funny?
Yeah.
You got the reference?
Yeah, from Futurama.
The other reference. The Xeno reference. Well, what's the reference from Xeno? I mentioned the Xeno thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just. It sounds familiar, but it's one of those moments.
I
I've been
think
having
it's the
real trouble
core.
remembering. Maybe I didn't actually know it. That doesn't sound familiar.
It's like an almost apocalyptic world event where the internal core of the Earth stopped moving, so they had to send people down there
Oh,
to
that
try and
one.
get it moving. And they have a hacker who's trying to control the information, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna need unlimited hot pockets and Xena episodes."
Oh.
I have 176 worlds now.
Wait. He offered me. Did he just offer me everything? I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 4, 5.
Research complete.
7, 8, 9, 10. I think he just offered me. I think he just offered me everything I was asking for. Well, everything I actually wanted to get out of that. And if not, well, he'll probably be down to like 1 planet, and I'll finish him off next time. Nope, I got him. There are no more. The Peacekeepers are no longer in existence in this galaxy.
Well, they're pretty terrible peacekeepers, to be honest.
Seriously.
They did nothing against the Unbidden.
Yeah.
Well, nothing important.
They threw away their fleet. They did that much.
One ship at a time.
Well, no, they sent their at one point they sent their entire fleet and just got it mulched. And there we go. Okay, let's unselect my fleet, because every time I select my fleet, I start lagging. Just every time I select it, I lag.
Well, since that war has ended...
Are you gonna start another war?
No, I was just thinking that means that there's no cliffhangers for next week's episode if we stop now.
If we stop now, yeah.
Yeah, we stop now because this year I'll be able to start my next war. Not till way later this year, but yeah. At 2475, 1027, I can start my next war.
Is it with the Havaragi?
Yep.
Then I won't ask them for a defensive pact.
I want all their stuff. And because I'm more powerful, I will have all their stuff.
Oh. The Eater of Worlds have devoured an entire population on Halax Secundus. Although we have been able to keep our covenant with the Eater secret from the population at large, the reigning people on the planet are understandably fearful and angry over these mysterious disappearances, and are demanding an explanation from the government. It was necessary.
Where does this happen?
I just had a pop eaten by the Eater of Worlds, and the entire world is getting a minus 20. And the entire planet is getting a minus 20% happiness buff because you know, they just had an entire city eaten.
Yeah.
That would do it.
Okay.
It does sound like you're a terrible person.
You did agree to let a psionic monster eat his pops.
Not a psionic monster,
Yeah.
but a group of psionic people, more or less.
Oh,
hey, guess
that
what?
makes it
Guess
better.
what?
It's just a group of murderers.
What?
Oh yes.
What?
Okay.
Is the Dyson sphere
Hold on.
done?
No, not that. Come on. Whoa. Oh, go. Okay. I got a special soldier called a psionic avatar.
Ooh.
Who is stupidly powerful. Like, you look at a regular assault army, bionic like, look at how much heat damage he does. Like, 33 morale damage, has 1,400 health, 1,040 morale. That is like survivability on par with like the Titanic Beast armies.
Is there such thing?
Yeah, if you study a planet with Titanic life, you can possibly get recruit 3 Titanic Beast armies from the planet. Which I did. One of them's, and you remember way back when I had some fleets suddenly get kind of stuck in limbo?
Vaguely.
One of them is stuck in, one of those Titanic Beasts is stuck in limbo. I can't even get rid of those fleets. I have 6 assault armies, 4 psionic armies, and a Titanic Beast, and they're all stuck in limbo. I've been stuck there for a while. Why is this fleet sitting in my system? Get out of there. You have no right to be in my territory. Get out. This one? No, that's not my... Yep, there it is. Oh, it was one of the not one of your mushroom people, Math, but it was one of the, you remember the other mushroom race I had? One of the
yes. The Jahetma, right?
The Ogi Nolex. They lived on Savannah Worlds and whatnot. Yeah, one of their pops was eaten.
I guess I had a craving for mushrooms.
The Eater of Worlds had a craving for mushrooms.
Oh man, I'm scared now.
We're coming for you next, Matt. Yeah, we're coming for you. We're coming for the Mushroom Kingdom next. Delicious mushrooms.
And your little spores too. I almost said spots, but I was like, wait, what's a spot?
It's a dog.
Or, you know, whatever the mushroom equivalent of a dog is.
A cap?
Wow.
That can be funny.
I think it's a dandelion.
Maybe.
I think that mushrooms keep dandelions as pets.
Careful, don't let any of the plantoids like any of the former peacekeepers, if they hear you say that, they'll think you're insulting their mother or something.
They probably
Were they plant people?
Yes, they're plant people. They look like Groot.
Oh, okay.
It's just one of those funny thing, just one of those little funny things that you know, with species that can be intelligent from basically any group, funguses, mollusks, avians, reptiles, any sort of plant, any sort of pet joke could technically be an insult to another race.
Yeah, good.
Research complete.
Well, that's my sentry array. Wrong one.
Is there a way to move something up in the tile queue?
Huh? Oh, not without canceling everything. By the way, I'm now working on finishing my Dyson sphere.
Nice.
So very soon, the galaxy will be a darker place.
Haha.
Well, I mean, isn't that anywhere that you are?
Considering the size of your fleet, you'll blot out the sun.
That is true. I mean,
Mine's getting larger, but it's at a slower rate.
mm-hmm. My ship maintenance is over 1,000 minerals. While it's docked.
May I say, sir, that's insane.
And it's 1,800 energy credits while it's docked. I'm
You
spending.
sound like the sill.
I am. My fleet is so big. I could split it in half, and each half could go after a fallen empire and win.
Oh, they knew it was coming.
I'm gonna get rid of that tech. I don't really need to get that tech, but I am sick and tired of seeing it there. So, Math, are you planning on going to war with someone anytime soon? Besides
No.
the Havaragi?
No, I miscalculated the amount of time it would take for all of my planets to become available to colonize. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 planets terraforming right now, and I colonized like 4 of them this episode. Like, I have colonized 4 planets, and I'm waiting for 10 more to terraform. So, no, I'm not planning on going to war. Although, I might cut off another piece of the Havaraga if Diermud goes after it.
If I go after it, you'll do it?
I think so.
Why?
Because then they'll be busy with you. And I'll cut off another chunk from the bottom.
Your fleet is twice as big as theirs anyway.
Well, then your timing is interesting.
Oh. Okay, well,
Literally
we'll
working on
have a war in the next episode, because it's that time again.
No! They have a 42,000 fleet.
Yeah. I think they're actually, if we look at context here, they are actually sitting only just underneath Math, and there's only one computer that non-Fallen Empire that's above them, and that's the Cerulean Alliance. Then again, I didn't take out their fleet, whereas I took out the Ixodar fleet, which is probably why the Ixodar are down lower than they are down lower, because I kept wiping out the Ixodar fleet, whereas I never really got a chance to take out the Ceruleans. Either way, everyone is pathetic to me. Except for Diermud, who is inferior.
Just watch your back, little man.
You want to go?
You might find a knife in the back of it because you're much bigger than me.
You want to go. You want the Death Fleet. You want the Grand Crusade to come rampaging through your systems.
I'd rather not a rampage.
My empire is growing in power very quickly.
Mine would be, but my growth of minerals and everything isn't as high as I'd like. It'll get.
Yeah, that's because Math has more territory to claim than you do currently.
Hmm.
I'm trying to do a good job at properly building up tiles before throwing them into before throwing planets into sectors now. So I think it is helping my mineral growth.
Yeah, and part of it might also be you've got to if you have enough income in your sectors, it's not as big a deal either. Because even then, if there's a little bit of a deficit, it will continue to try and build stuff up. As long as your sectors actually are getting a fair amount of income. Like miners actually getting income faster than it will be than it can. My sectors are getting income faster than they can actually build things. Because there's only so much. Anyway, yeah. So, well, guys, again, sorry for the initial screw up. Still don't know what went wrong, but hopefully we will keep it from happening again next week. It probably won't be as big a deal once Math comes back and he has his regular connection. Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Where Diarmu's going after the Havaragi. Again. Sounds like Math is about to go after them.
Yeah, because they're the only one that aren't in an alliance. Although the alliance is not nearly as scary as it was now that there's no Awakened Empire in it.
Without the Awakened Empire, they are far weaker. And actually, they have to rely on their own tech as well. When their Federation fleets might actually take a bit of a drop because of that.
The problem is that the two people that are in an alliance in that Federation, they like me, and they like me a lot. But the Feral Alliance does not like me at all. Oh no, they like me now. Why did that change?
Well, part of it's that they're vassals.
Like, I checked at the beginning of the episode, and they hated me. But now they don't.
Maybe it's because you were I don't know. You deal with them how you want. If you want to join their alliance, you can.
That's
just
your choice.
Just be warned there might be consequences.
No, it's just that I feel bad attacking people that like me. Like, when it says plus 275 opinion, I feel bad declaring war on them.
It's probably... Actually, I'm willing to bet a good portion of why they really, really like you is because me and Diarmu have been doing a lot of aggressive wars. But, at the same time, you haven't. You haven't actually been doing a lot of aggressive warfare. So you're getting a lot of mutual threat modifiers, whereas I'm getting a lot.
Yeah, I get mutual threats 200 and mutual rivals 25.
Yeah, the 200. That's probably entirely from me and Diarmu going on a lot of offensive wars.
So yeah, looking at that, like a lot of a huge amount of why they like me is purely because
you haven't been aggressive, and...
Yeah, they don't really like me, they're just afraid of you.
Yes.
Okay, that makes me feel less bad.
Anywho, we'll come back to that, we'll come back to that next week, and with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.